What's up, guys? So yesterday we got a major announcement from Archeworld and the team regarding the BSLT compensation for team members, which is very, very important as we've been talking about this for the last several weeks, that the 1 year lockup period for compensation and partnerships and things like that has probably happened, and that's why we're seeing the BSLT price go down. So we actually got a response, official response here from Arcworld. This was again announced on 8/2/23. So it says, "Hello, this is Arcworld. Almost a year has passed since the Arcworld service launched. As the time to release the lockup of Team Share Reward announced through the Arcworld white paper tokenomics is approaching, we would like to inform about the related issues in advance to prevent worries and concerns arising from everyone." So that right there is really concerning, right? So they're saying in this letter, in this announcement, that the lockup hasn't reached yet. So they're saying as the lockup period is approaching, we would like to inform the related issues in advance to prevent worries and concerns. Approaching means that it hasn't happened yet. So the price decrease that we're seeing in the BSLT token is apparently not because of the lockup period and people dumping the tokens from employees and executives and partnerships, right? But it's other players that are just dumping the tokens, and the players are the ones that are pushing the price down. Obviously, XL Games is selling their profits, their monthly profits that they get. They do sell those as well, but the players are selling. So what this is saying is that the price is going to go down significantly from where we are. We're currently right around 15 cents today on the BSLT token. And after this announcement, the price did see a nice little spike down. It was around 17 cents, and then it went dipped down to about 14 cents at one point. I believe we're hovering right around 15 cents. But yeah, very, very interesting that the white paper lockup 1 year period has not officially happened yet. So next up, they say the Arcworld team has been working hard to steadily grow the size of the DEX and stabilize the BSLT market price by continuously supplying a certain percent of the sales of the company back to the DEX, the liquidity pool. As a result, the current DEX liquidity supply scale has expanded by about 10 times compared to the time we initially launched our service, and we are gradually reducing this volatility of BSLT price caused by temporary demand or supply increases. So, what this is saying to me is that they've increased the supply of the DEX significantly. So originally when the game launched, there was approximately around 1.5 million BSLT tokens that were being used for the circulation where you could buy and sell. And so once that 1.5 million token price went down, the lower it went down, the higher the price went. So now they said they've approximately 10x'd it, and now there's approximately going to be around 15 million tokens in this, liquidity pool. So that says if someone goes and buys 50,000 tokens, it doesn't fluctuate the price. Whereas before, when someone bought 50,000 tokens or 100,000 tokens and there was only a total supply of 1.5 million, that dramatically increased the price or decreased the price, as we saw the price skyrocket early on, about month one of Arcworld's launch, when the token price shot all the way up from 50 cents to 93 cents in the course of like 3 or 4 days. Like just pure insanity. Token price exponentially went up because the DEX, the liquidity pool, was almost out of tokens at that point. So someone went in and just tried to buy everything up. And that happened because there was only around 1.5 million total tokens in the supply. Even though the overall supply of tokens is 1 billion, a lot of that stuff is actually locked up and was not being used for the liquidity pool and for the DEX. So now over the course of the last 11 months, they have actually increased this significantly, and now we have a larger supply in the DEX that is around that 15 million. You can check all the numbers and everything as well if you want to dive deeper into the Bora scope, and you can see these things and look exactly. So again, approximation on these numbers, it was approximate 1.5 million from what I remember back in the original launch, and then it is now approximately 15 million since they say they have expanded it by about 10 times. So there will be less fluctuations. There's not going to be no fluctuations. The price is going to go up and is going to go down as people buy and sell, but it won't be as dramatic or as significant as, going from 50 cents to 93 cents in the matter of a couple of days. So they don't want that. Next up in this paragraph, despite this, there is still a risk that the BSLT market price might temporarily show a steep decline when a large amount of BSLT is sold to the DEX at once. And so this, they are prepping because they're telling you the lockup period hasn't happened. The 1 year lockup period in paragraph 1 has not happened yet. That's what they've said to us in this announcement. And now they're prepping you here and be like, there's going to be a steep decline. Well, there could be a steep decline in the price because when these guys tokens get unlocked, they're going to have tens of thousands, maybe a million tokens. We don't know how many they have, right? They haven't told us, and it's, company details. We don't know exactly. Of course, on the Boroscope, you can go deep dive and search for wallets and find out, maybe this is their wallet, maybe that's their wallet, right? Like figure out kind of whose wallet's what and what tokens they may own. But yeah, they're not going to come out and officially be like, oh, Bob's got 1 million tokens. John's got 250,000 tokens. Stacy's got 500,000 tokens. They're not going to tell us this, right? They don't tell us company details. They don't tell us company bonuses and things like that. So you can figure this stuff out if you really want to dive deep in the Boroscope. But as of now, we just know that there is a lockup period coming, which it sounds like it's going to happen around September 1st, because we're getting very, very close to the 1 year anniversary. And the lockup period was originally 1 year. So that means September 1st would be the lockup period, which we could see this right here, what they say, a steep decline when a large amount of BSLT is sold to the DEX at once. Because, hey, not only is one person's lockup period happening, but there's going to be, 5 or 10 or 15, however many employees are all going to get these tokens, and they're going to unlock them at the same time. So they keep going here. The Archeworld team has been constantly discussing ways to grow the users for a long-term perspective, and we have come up with the alternative about how we would like to proceed with the BSLT member compensation. All right, so they're going to adjust the compensation somewhat here. So, BSLT reward payment for team members. The total payment period for the team member compensation is extended from 3 years to 5 years. So they are now, instead of saying you get all your money on year 1, year 2, year 3, now they're saying you get your money year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, and then year 5. So they're taking the same amount of money, it looks like, and they're extending it further out, which means they'll get less of the tokens up front. And I think this is a great thing to do, but it also shows you that instead of a 3-year plan for Archeworld, now they're extending it out. They say they have a 5-year plan for Archeworld. That's what I get from this, because if you look back, they originally talked about giving the game to the players and open sourcing everything and letting the players run this via, a DEX in the future, a DAO, right? A DAO in the future. So they want to be hands off, but they have goals and they have plans for the game. They have development cycles. They have content that they want to release. But if you followed Archeworld at all for the last 11 months, you've realized that the release schedule has been very, very slow. There's been lots of delays. It's been harder than they anticipated to release this content and to stabilize the game and the economy. They're doing a good job of it, but it's just happening very, very slow. A lot slower than they anticipated. A great example is they thought they were going to launch the America servers last year in 2022. That did not happen. They launched the American server, mid-year 2023 approximately, maybe first quarter 2023. So you can just see there's delays that are happening, and they're aware of this, which means they're extending their time frame to 5 years now. So, next up, the total amount of team members' reward pay for 5 years is reduced by 40% from 50 million to 30 million tokens. The remaining amount can be used additionally if needed later. Wow, so that's a huge, huge announcement right there. So not only are they extending it, but they're reducing the team compensation in a significant amount, 40%. So instead of giving the team 50 million tokens, they're only giving the team 30 million tokens. And again, this is spread out now over 5 years rather than 3. This still is going to be an insane amount of tokens that is going to be unlocked each year, because if we think about it this way, if every year 5 years, we divide 30 million divided 5, that means we're still going to see 6 million tokens each year. If they unlock it, 6 million for the first year, 6 million for the second year, 6 million for the third year, 6 million for the fourth year, 6 million for the fifth year, right? So we're going to potentially see 6 million tokens become unlocked in a matter of days and weeks that could all be sold and just crash the price. Because remember, the liquidity pool only has a total of around 15 million tokens. And if now someone drops, even just 3 million tokens, that's going to greatly affect the price, which what they talked about earlier in this letter, that there could be a sharp decline in the price when a large amount of BSLT is sold to the DEX. So you can see all this stuff is tying together. They are preparing us for a big drop in the token price. And we talked about this before, why I think that we could see BSLT all the way down to like 5 cents, maybe even lower with this new information here. So at that point, that's where you'd potentially want to buy the dip, in my opinion, and grab these tokens if you're looking to play Archeworld for the long period of time. But again, this is not financial advice. This is just my thoughts on the matter. This is what I am potentially going to be doing in the future. So next up, let's keep going because there's a little bit more. Team member compensation for the first year is paid by using the cumulative amount of BSLT set as company profits, and the corresponding amount of BSLT will be burnt. Ooh, so that is actually very interesting. So they're saying they're not actually going to use any new BSLT per se. They're saying to me that they're going to just take the company profits and just give it to the employees and let them do what they want with it, and then the rest of that will get burnt. So that's a cool process right there, because every month, there's a lot of BSLT circulating, and all this BSLT that gets bought eventually just goes back to XL Games. The company gets every single BSLT token. That's where it goes. Like when you play the game, you buy things on the auction house, they get a 10% auction house fee. When you rent a land, if it's XL Game owned land, they get that rent. They do give a little bit back to the players. But even if you are an owner in a land, if you are renting your own land to someone else, XL Games has a 10% fee on that. So there's just tons and tons of ways that the tokens are all heading right back to XL Games, the company. And the company is always going to end up, having these tokens in their stockpile, and hence why they keep pushing the price down, because as all these tokens circulate, they just like, okay, we got 1 million tokens or 5 million tokens, now we got to sell them, and we're going to sell them, and when we sell them, the price is going to go down, because that's what happens when you sell a lot of tokens. So the constant selling pressure right now is just because everything is circulating and it is always going back to XL Games. And they do have a monthly sales that they do. They sell their tokens monthly throughout the month sporadically to, get company profits, because they don't want the tokens, right? They want the cash. They want the USD dollars. They don't want to hold the BSLT tokens. They actually have, millions upon millions of BSLT tokens. They'd much rather have cash. So lastly, after 1 year, the method can be maintained or changed according to the needs and judgments of the company. So they're saying that after 1 year of doing this, they're going to assess the situation and see if this is working or not, and if not, they will change it and adjust it. So I think overall this is a great announcement from them. It does give us a lot of information. It tells us that the lockup period from the white paper has not happened. So if you go over to the white paper, we can see that the total amount of tokens that the team has in reserve is 200 million tokens. So when they talk about it in here, the compensation is 50 million for team members. That's only a fraction of this, actually. They still have 150 million tokens that they have in reserve. So they said 15% for company, and then 5% is for rewards to the team members, 5% for member rewards, unlocked for 3 years after 1 year. So the white paper has a little bit more data, but it does look a little bit more confusing because it says it's only like 5% for member rewards, whereas in this announcement they're talking about 50 million tokens, and 50 million of 200 million, that's 25%. So that number does not match up to what they said right there. And then it says unlock for 3 years, 1 year lockup, 1.38 million per month is going to be unlocked. Then now they say 15% for company. Basically, this amount will locked for 3 years and reserved for DAO voting rights. Company revenue will be accrued to this account, half of exchange fee, which is 10% of total exchange volume, and some of them regularly sold to markets for company expenditures. So overall, like the team has set aside a total of 200 million tokens. And now we got a little bit more information on this. We got the kind of like updated, right? So the compensation, the amount of tokens that they set aside for team members is 50 million. Now they've reduced it to 30 million. And again, they're going to take that out of a lot of the company profits from the auction house sales, the land sales, and such forth like that. So overall, this announcement was good, but it is worrisome for the token price because the token price, in my opinion, should be going down significantly in a couple of days and weeks, and we will see a massive decline in token price is my guess. So will it go to 5 cents? Will it go lower than 5 cents? It can go lower than 5 cents, guys. It can go to 0.000 like 8 cents or 1 cent. We'll have to figure out where this token price goes to, but I do think that could be a great buying the dip opportunity once these get unlocked, and if you're looking for playing the game in the future. When the token price does go down, then it does affect everything in the game as well. So that means the rent prices become cheaper, the Arc Pass price becomes cheaper, and if you are actually going to be playing the game, a lower token price is better for you. If you're looking to try to make money off the game, a lower token price is obviously not good for you. But if you're actively playing and enjoying and having fun in the game, you want the token price to be lower so everything else is cheaper. The rent prices will be staying the same. The amount of earnings that you get from arenas and stuff like that will be staying the same until they change that for future notices and so forth. But yeah, so if the token price goes down, most of the items in game will probably stay the same on the auction house, right? Just because the token price went down 80% or 70% doesn't mean that the blue Archeum core is now going to be worth 500 BSLT. It's still probably going to be worth 30 BSLT or so, right? Some items will see an increase in value, maybe the higher end stuff. Archeum price might actually go up some, right? Because it might be tied to the dollar rather than the BSLT. But yeah, token price going down is a good thing for players of the game who are actually playing the game. The Arc Pass is 1,000 tokens, so if the token price goes down to 1 penny, then it becomes a lot cheaper to actually have the Arc Pass. If the token price is 1 penny, once again, the rents of XL Games lands become a lot cheaper. So if it's only 1 penny and the rent price is 300 BSLT, you're only looking at, $3 to rent for a month? That's insanely cheap, right? But then in reverse, you don't make that much profit off of your land because you're making it in BSLT. You're making, say 1,000 BSLT. So that means you made $10. So it changes the economics a lot. Like the earning aspect goes down when the token price goes down. But to play the game and to actually enjoy and have fun, a token price lower is good for those players. So let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think I am wrong? Did you read this? What do you think about their article? What do you think about the news that is here? I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching as always. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you hadn't, and I'll see you in the next one.